Welcome back, everybody, to the weekend show where I'll be doing technical analysis on big mega cap stocks. So, before we get started, please hit that like button, and that is greatly appreciated. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. Now, if you want to get all types of daily trade ideas, swing trade ideas, live trading 5 days a week, definitely check out my link down below in the description for Patreon. And now, let's get right into the market. So you can see right on my screen, Netflix actually buying another company here, and that thing was down on Friday, and we made a great trade on Netflix. You guys will get to see that a little bit later on. But what market did on Friday was again a lot of chop, not much really happening. We went higher with that PC data, but then came back and gave back some of those gains. That was up still 0.22%, Nasdaq up 0.31%, S&P up 0.19%, and you would think that Russell should be up, but it's down 0.42%. 11 sectors led the way on top. We got communication services, technology, consumer cyclical, real estate, financial, industrials, consumer defensive, and then you can see energy utilities really lagging behind. It was down quite a bit. Stock market map. What do we have here on stock market map? You can see Microsoft was up nearly 0.5%, Nvidia down 0.5%, Broadcom up 2.42%. We got names like AMU up nearly 5%, Google up 1.15%, Meta up 1.80%, Tesla flat, Amazon flat, and Apple down 0.68%. We got to name these as well right here. PLTR up 2.16%, Oracle going up 1.52%, and then PANW up 1.61%. But there's still a lot of red and pretty much flat here on your screen. So it wasn't really good. And if you look at it, especially here, advancing was 40% and declining was 55% on Friday, guys. So that tells the story. And next week, we do have FOMC, and that's going to be a big one to watch for. And the market has to make a decision because I think all that rate cut, even if they cut 25 basis points, and I hope they do it. If not, this market is going to crash. That's for sure. But I think that's already priced in, and that's where you're seeing that slow melt up, but things are not looking good for the economy. And especially if they start cutting rates rapidly, the market is going to realize that, oh, this is it. Something has gone wrong. It's not all too bullish. And rate cuts are not known. For market rallying and just going up. Just because we're printing money, it does not mean that market has to go up all the time. And especially the rate cuts, because something broke, something is happening within the economy, we will know very soon exactly, and you're going to feel it. And I think some people are already feeling it, that something broke, and that's why there will be more rate cuts. And if they're cutting aggressively, that means something is really wrong, guys. On Nvidia, stock is down 0.5%, so another day where this thing got a rejection here at 184, and things are just not looking too good on Nvidia. If this thing does not get back up over 184, we might see a drop back down to 180, maybe even right down here near 175 to even lower target, which is at 170. If this thing gets over 184, definitely heading higher, back up to 190, 195-ish, and even higher because we have a gap on top, and there's tons of calls that are sitting at 200 that whales are buying. So on Broadcom, it's up 2.42%, and it's looking really good, especially over 386. And you can see, we talked about it before in my video that it holds up 373, just consolidating for 2 days. If it gets over that 386, we can push higher, and it's definitely doing that. Now, if it actually holds up here at 386, we can see 400 again on Broadcom and possibly even higher. But once again, this thing is really overbought, and especially when it comes to earnings, I don't think anybody should be playing it. So I think it's better to just wait and see if this thing actually can hold up here at 386. Then watch out for a little bit more upside, maybe even another brand new all-time high. But 386 gives up, we will be pulling back into that key zone again, 373, and possibly even going lower down to like 360. Or there is a huge gap down here, which I think at some point is going to come down and fill this gap right down here on Broadcom. So Netflix is down 2.89%, and this is one of the best trade of the week. You can see this was posted early on as a trade idea by myself. You can see Netflix entry area 97 to 98, and these contracts we're looking for 105 calls, December 5th expiration with that stop loss of 35%, which is a 1 DT or 0 DT, whatever you want to call it. It's going to expire same day. And fast forward to what happened, guys. They had a news, they're buying another company, and guess what? It dropped all the way down to 97 and some change, exactly where I wanted. And you can see these calls went through the moon. This thing was awesome. We got out of those same day expiration with really nice profit, and not to mention called out triple Q puts as well. But I'm not going to show you guys all those plays here. If you're really serious about trading, then definitely, if you want these types of trade ideas and you want to do this full time and this is your goal, then definitely check out that link down in the description for Patreon, guys. Now let's delete all this and talk about Netflix, where things can go. So it's down pretty much quite a bit right now. Netflix is down, right? And I think this is fantastic opportunity. We talked about it before in my video that if this thing gets down to 100, it's definitely a really good idea to go long on it. You can see we talked about it in my previous video right here that there is support around 100 to 99, and so far holding and respecting that level. So it's fantastic if this thing holds here. The lower this thing goes, the bigger position I'll be buying on Netflix because this thing is way from its daily 200 SMA. So it's around 112, 113. At some point, it's going to retrace back up to that daily 200 SMA. And if that happens, definitely there is huge, huge upside potential, and not to mention the all-time high, which is right here at 134, 135. So going into Monday's session, what to look for on Netflix? That this thing holds up here, guys. Holds up here at 100. If that holds, we might get to see Netflix going back up to possibly 104, maybe even 106. And that's where this thing needs to break and hold. And then we're going to see more upside here on Netflix. As of right now, it's on a strong downtrend, but don't forget, this thing can run. When things go back up here on Netflix, a lot of people will be chasing. But as of right now, this is a great deal. This thing is buy in my opinion right now. So I mean, you got to do your own research on Netflix if you want to get in. But we're buying and I'm buying. It looks really good, and I think the lower this thing goes, it's going to become more attractive to a lot of investors. On Tesla stock, it's absolutely flat on the day, and whales are still pushing this thing higher, especially for those calls that are sitting, especially for 500 strike and 550. So we'll see how that actually plays out. Yes, it's looking good inside this box. So we're just back inside this chop box. If this thing clears 474 and stays over that level, then yes, 500 is possible, brand new all-time high. But if this thing does not, clear this box and comes right back in, bottom of this box, which is around 412, 413, then it's not gonna be, all too good for the bulls. So going into Monday session, there will be support at 443, rising 5-day moving average, 432, 423, and then 412. To the upside, watch out for a move back up to 464. And if that breaks all the way back up to 474 or even higher, we'll talk about that when we get there. On Microsoft, it's up 0.48%. So there is a gap at 486. There is a gap at almost 505. And not to mention this gap, which is close to all time highs. Now, it's on a strong downtrend. We had some news. It was a fake news. At least they came out and cleared it last week. But the stock is definitely not doing much. It came down again on Friday at 478 and then went back up over 480. So 480 has to hold. And if that holds and we get over this 483.69, we might get to see a push up to this gap, which is at 486.32. And from there, there will be resistance at 491 to 492, where we got multiple rejection on Microsoft. If we get over that level, you will see 500 to 505 to close this gap on top. On Meta, it's up 1.80%. So just because, they're not spending money and cutting on things, It's not all too good, but who cares? This is how all the news has been playing out on these big names. There is cuts on spending. Well, the stock goes up, and look at this, guys. I mean, this thing was fantastic. If you traded, I made bunch of videos. Those big mega cap stocks that I do in my channel, talking about this trend line on this weekly time frame where it can hold, and this is exactly what it did. And look at the pump here. I mean, that is a huge move. We got up to almost 682 last week on Thursday. So that is a almost over $100 move from the bottom. That's huge. So if you caught this thing and you've been riding it, it's really good. Unfortunately, we bought, but we did not sell all the way here on top. This news was not included. We got out a little bit earlier, but still, it was fantastic. I was telling you guys, 2200 a contract gone for 5 grand, and those are now sitting at 8500 if anyone was holding, including myself, which we are not holding. So here on Meta, if this thing gets over this 675 range, it'll likely to come up to 682, and from there this gap comes into play, which is massive, right? 742, another $100. To the downside, key support holding for past couple days, 664. Only if that gives up, it'll come down to 648.85, and that could be a buying opportunity because look at this rising 5-day moving average sitting at 652, which does have confluence with this gap, so that should hold in this consolidation. But if this thing just goes right through all that, we do have strong support as well right here. This 20-day and the gap right down here at 617. On Apple, stock is down 0.68%. So you can see this box was there. I was showing you guys this on the 30-minute time frame. Since we broke down from this box, we try to go back in, and what happened after that? We all know, I mean, the sell-off continued all the way down to the next support. You can see that 277 range. We're just slightly over that range. So when things get overbought, and especially on monthly time frame, you guys saw that before. I was showing you that it's hitting that monthly trend line to the upside, and there will be a pullback. And this is exactly what we got. I mean, this is a huge pullback in just a matter of 3 days. This thing gave back from 288.62 down to 278. That is a decent pullback on a stock like Apple. Now, if this thing does not hold here, guys, 277, it can go even more all the way down to the next support, 273, 274, 20-day, and this key zone where we got multiple rejection, and then it can come down even more down to this key zone. There is a gap down here as well. So watch out. Apple needs to stay over 280 for more upside. There will be resistance at 282.58, and over that you're going to see another push back up towards that all-time high that we had last week. I think that was on Wednesday. So in just a matter of 3 days, it gave back like $10, and it can come down a little bit more if this thing gives up that support 277. On AMD, it's up 0.92%. So you can see another candle. We got close to it and rejection. So 20 days about to cross the 50-day, and that's not a bull trend. We have a bear flag pattern that is forming here. If this thing comes down and does not hold this 217.31 5-day moving average, which is holding into closing, then it's going to come down here to this gap 206.58, which is going to be quite a bit of a drop here. And then don't even forget about this gap down here at 170, but I'm not saying that's going to happen immediately. We have pretty much a double top or a rounding top, whatever you want to call it, and now into a bear flag pattern. So if this thing is going to play out, you're going to see more dump off on AMD, unless this thing breaks and holds over 226. Then it's going to be a game changer for more upside, and possibly we'll see AMD heading towards 235 to even 242 and even higher. On Amazon stock, it's up 0.18%, so flat day on Friday. Did not do anything pretty much. Did hold this 50-day moving average 228 and also below 232. So if this thing rises back up, there is potential for this gap to get filled right here around 232, 233 right here. And over that, you'll see a move up to 236 to even 238 and then 242. If it does not hold here at 228, it'll come down to this gap 222, and there should be a strong support because we have held here on Amazon before, and it can hold on again. And below that, of course, there is the lower Bollinger Band, which is at almost 215 here. So Amazon here also, I mean, within this kind of just setting up a lower high here, we have to see if this thing holds up here or comes down and makes a new low, which is going to be an opportunity to possibly go long. But as of right now, I would stay away from Amazon from this chop unless this thing picks a direction and it shows us that it's going higher or it's going lower, which would be taking out this low down here. We have to watch that going into next week. On Google stock, it's up 1.16%. So Google, just trading inside this range. Not really much happening here. One day up, one day down. Thursday was up pretty much, and then gave back some of those gains. You can see, and now it's trading at 322. So it's above the 5-day moving average. 318 is going to be the key zone to watch. If it falls below that, right down here at 314, and below that, you're going to see 309 to 303 to close this gap down here. If it goes towards that all-time high, then watch out for the next stop, which would be 327 to 328. And if we can get over that, the Bollinger Band on top, expand it all the way up to 336, that's where we will be heading on Google. But as of right now, and still now, this thing is overbought, and I believe it will make a comeback down to this gap, and from there, maybe even lower down to 292.